Good morning, everyone. We're very excited to have you join us today for it's August, September, or oh my gosh, August webinar Wednesday. I'm getting my words jumbled up. I'm Mercedes McClure. I'm with the Cook County Bureau of Economic Development, also the Cook County Small Business Source. Let me share my screen here real quick, and I'll tell you all about the source and the amazing resources that we have available through Cook County for small business and entrepreneurs located within the county here. So what is the source? The source is a resource for all Cook County-based business owners, small business owners, entrepreneurs, and our core mission is to help support, grow, and elevate small businesses by providing no cost, aka free, business advising, events, and capital resources to all business owners located in Cook County. How do we do that? We do that by three different kind of core tenets here. Business advising. Through this program, we are connecting you as a business owner with experts that we have partnered with. We have a very robust network of 13 business support organizations, and those are organizations that are essentially experts in assisting small business owners. So they're tried and true, and they're very trusted, and we're very thankful that we are able to partner with these organizations directly and connect business owners with these resources for free. Our events, we host events all throughout Cook County, virtual, such as the one you're attending today, and in person, where business owners have the opportunity to connect with others, to network, to upskill and discover resources that are critical for your growth. So those are always free. You can go to our website and discover our calendar there. And then certainly last but not least, our capital resources. I'll get into this a little bit further in the next few slides, but the source program has a robust program that we've built out all about ensuring that capital resources are more accessible to small business owners. They're more easy to understand and navigate, and that you have the assistance necessary from, again, trusted local organizations to help you not only secure these resources, but use them in a manner that is going to be beneficial to your bottom line in the long term there. So again, our partners, we have a great network. Hopefully some of these names are familiar if you're located in Cook County, but we're thrilled to have 13 partners. And within that partner network, 19 languages collectively spoken, and especially exciting in 2026 is our 40 plus cohort of 40 plus referral partners, again, all located throughout Cook County. The exciting thing about our partners is that this network is very collaborative across all of our different organizations. They have specialties across sectors, including hospitality, construction, government contracting. And the best part is if you need perhaps a resource that might be best advised under the realm of another organization, but you're working with one, for kind of an illustrative example, let's say you're working with a Women's Business Development Center, but you're interested in contracting, then Builders Avenue is our BSO that is a bit more specialized in that sector. WBDC is going to help make the direct connection with Builders Avenue, so you're always getting the best resources applicable to your situation. Our CFI program, so we're especially thrilled to be working with 5 community financial institutions. Again, these are local Cook County organizations that are very trusted, tried and true. And through this program, we have tailored a specific kind of range of capital products that each of these organizations have really, developed out in a meaningful way to provide accessible capital to small business owners in Cook County. So these capital products range from micro grants in the $1,000 realm all the way up to 500,000 for perhaps bigger needs. And as local nonprofits, these organizations are very relationship based. So instead of working with perhaps, a national organization where, you don't really have a direct contact perhaps at in the bank or institution that you're lending from, you're always going to have a familiar face with your local CFI, and really develop a relationship and a stake. They'll develop a stake in your business because ultimately they want to see you succeed with these resources that they are investing in your business. Our kind of program breakdown, especially when it reflects at Cook County, we are very excited to say that, and since our inception in 2020, we've distributed more than $76 million via grants into the community, notably our Catalyst grant in the past year here. And we serve a diverse community breakdown as well. So over 80% of our business owner clients are people of color, more than 60% reflect women-owned businesses, and just around 80% there also reflect micro businesses containing 10 or less employees. So no matter who you are, what language you speak, the source is here to help work with you, and we want to connect with you. And what do our business owners have to say? They definitely recommend the source. You can see here that 80% of surveyed business owners said that they would recommend the source to other entrepreneurs, and especially those that have participated in our business advising program. Around 70% said that their business advisors help them create clear action plans. So what that means is they're coming into business advising with some ideas about what they want to do with their business, but they need a concrete plan and steps laid out to actually accomplish those goals and perhaps different resources to leverage. What our business owners help you do is they help you do exactly that. So they're going to talk to you, get a handling of your situation, and lay out the steps for you to achieve those. We're always excited as well just to feature just different success stories. We call them source spotlights of business owners that have participated in either a business advising program, that have received a grant, that have found success through the source in one way or the other. We have a few of those businesses featured here, ranging from Little Munchkin's Produce in Back of the Yard, Chicago, Illinois, to Date Night View, located in Berwyn, Illinois. So again, highly encourage you to visit our website and read a bit more about these stories and these business owners in particular, and understand how our program has benefited them in various different ways. So certainly a very important detail of this all is how do you access this? You can visit our website. It's called cookcountysmallbiz.org. You can either do that by typing that URL into your Google domain search, it'll pop up, or you can scan the QR code here. We'll also share this presentation deck following the webinar, so you'll have this information directly. Once you would go to that website, if you would like to sign up for business advising, you'll navigate to the top nav bar where it says business advising. You click that, and there's a very easy 5 to 10 minute intake form that will ask you a few questions, and then turnaround time is around 2 to 4 business days, and you'll be connected with a business advisor directly. We definitely encourage you to also sign up for our Small Business Source newsletter. Through this newsletter, you'll receive monthly resources, news, events delivered straight to you. And we're always excited just to share what our partners are doing, what's available out there in the community, such as the resource that we're going to get into today in our main presentation. So definitely sign up for that if you're interested in learning more. So again, thank you all for attending today. If you want to stay engaged with the source, you can follow us on social media. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram primarily. You can sign up for our newsletter and visit our website. And then if you want to reach out for additional information, you can contact Krista Elam, our project director. So with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and hand it over to Harold Nunez from the SBA.
Good morning, everybody. Just let me get the presentation up and going. And can you see my screen, Mercedes? It's all good.
Yes, looks perfect.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And again, thank you for the opportunity for us to meet here today and speak with, your community about the disaster loan program that it's available to Cook County. If at any point there's any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. or anything that I might say, you want me to retouch on it, please or raise your hand or however we are able to do it. So with that, I promise I won't take as long. So let's just kind of get right into it. So what is the SBA Small Business Administration Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience? What's our mission? So we really are here after a disaster to connect individuals, businesses, private nonprofits, homeowners, and renters as well with the SBA disaster programs just to help improve recovery outcomes and economic resilience by helping community respond, recover, and mitigate against disasters of all types, not only naturally, but also man-made disaster. So specifically right here, we're speaking about the severe storms that happened and affected Cook County and the surrounding counties in late July. That is July 27th. But I do know that earlier in the month of July, there was another severe storm. So the physical damage filing deadline for those that were impacted on July 27 is on the 19th of October. Economic injury filing, it's until next year, which I'll go into a little bit more detail about that later. And the counties that were impacted are, as you see sort of below, which is Page, Grundy, Kane. So touch base with friends, families, if they were impacted and they live outside of Cook County, they're still able to get this assistance. It's not just for the Cook County residents. So understanding what the disaster loans are, right? So SBA disaster loan is completely different from a credit card or a traditional loan. So these are made available for uninsured or otherwise uncompensated losses. These loans are coming directly from a federal government, not from a bank. Whereas traditional, they have higher interest rates, they have less flexible terms, and there are definitely a lot of them have prepayment penalties. When we say these come from federal government, we are mean it literally. Like there is no going into a bank or there's no third person. It's you. You have a portal, and the money is directly coming from the federal government into your banking account. Um, what are some of those benefits of SBA disaster loan, right? So affordable, flexible, and accessible. Flexible, there's no interest or payments for 12 months. Um, it's affordable because the terms is up to 30 years with a fixed rate just to keep recovery within reach, right? And then it's accessible. There's no collateral required for loans up to 50,000, and funds can be dispersed even before your insurance pays it out. It's affordable, and just diving a little bit deeper on what does that affordability means, right? So it's free. It doesn't cost anything to apply. There's zero up cost. And then it's well below market rate. Those interest rates are extremely competitive. And I will show you just what are some of those interest rates may be. The long term is usually spread out and extended and, manageable, as well as fixed loan payments. I promise not to kind of dive deeper into all of this because what I really want you to understand is just the assistance that's available and where to get assistance. And then while you're going through the process, this all will be sort of your kind of retold and reintroduced to you all of your flexibilities, like 12 months deferred payment, um, the mitigation option, which means just applying for additional funding to rebuild back stronger, the no interest for those 12 months, the loan modification that's available once you are like in our system. And again, that accessibility factor, right? There's refinancing and relocation available, no collateral, as well as you could have the funds even well before insurance settles it. Now, this is not the case for everybody. Every survivor, every application is different, but there is a wide range of sort of like accessibility that you could tap into once you begin the process of requiring assistance from us. So, what are some of the disaster loan types? I focus more because this is sort of a small business kind of meeting. So, we have what we call physical disaster loans and economic injury disaster loans. So, physical is just, as the word says, right? It's just to fund and repair. They're funds to repair damaged property, like, cover your homes, business, vehicle. Again, homeowners are able to also get this assistance. And personal property, it's also within those physical loans. And then we have what we call an economic injury disaster loans. That is just an economic impact that all of this flooding has occurred in small businesses. People aren't really shopping, people aren't really spending money, and this has a big impact on the amount of revenue that small businesses are having, a lot of them having to tap into savings or take out an extra line of credit or dive into other methods of, just in order to keep their lights on, pay their payroll, just meet those financial obligations. This is exactly what the economic injury disaster loan comes into play and help against. What are some of those loan numbers and sort of like limits, right? So again, the type of loans that we have for business, uh, there is the purpose that is for physical damage, and that is up to $2 million. So for owners of small businesses and nonprofits, private nonprofit, um, for small businesses looking for economic injury loans, those, again, the working capital, that is up to $2 million. Homeowners, if you own a home, to repair physical damage, or let's say even your primary residence was condemned and it just doesn't, like it just can't be, it's not livable anymore, you could get up to $500,000. Um, for personal property, homeowners and renters are able to get up to $100,000 to, recover. And even your car is included in this as well. I mentioned mitigation. So that is basically once you're approved for whatever amount of damage and we provided you some funding, you're able to qualify up to 20% more, and that is 20% of the verified physical damage. Um, so for homeowners is limited at 500,000. And again, that is of your 20% verified physical damage, not what we gave you. What I mean by that is that if your physical damage, your verified damage was 100 grand, but we only give you 50, the 20% is not of that 50. It's of the actual damage, that the physical damage that we verified you had, which is a great help to kind of just build back stronger and take on those projects to, should next year or in a few years rain again, you won't have as big of a damage as you probably had this year. So, what are some of those requirements, right? That's what a lot of people just want to know. And they're pretty really simple. Eligibility, credit, and repayment. You got to have damaged property or business must be in a declared county. Um, if I'm not from Illinois, but if you are from a county that's a little bit, maybe three counties over, you probably won't be able to qualify for this. This is just for Illinois, will, and then the surrounding counties or the contiguous, the counties adjacent, touching the barrier are able to qualify for this assistance. Your credit applicant must have acceptable credit to the SBA. A lot of people have questions about this, like what does this mean? It's very flexible and very forgiving, right? I think that as long as you're able to prove and talk your situation, it's worth having a conversation and submitting an application. And then your repayment. You got to show the ability to repay the loan. Again, what does this mean? You got to have some type of sort of either a job or good standing with the government. I do know that a lot of people have gotten assistance through COVID loans and making sure that you're in good terms with those payments and that you're in good standing with the SBA comes into consideration when you're applying for this federal assistance. So diving a little bit deeper into business physical disaster loans, again, this is just a little bit deeper um into like the table that I showed you earlier, up to $2 million. And the interest rate really depends on the survivor and the credit elsewhere. Um, and again, it's just to repair physical damages that your business suffered. What are some of those examples? Building repair, warehouses or office machinery, like tools or technological essentials, inventory if you lost, goods in there, furniture, just or cosmetic or cleaning, sanitizing. All those type of examples are sort of physical example that you might have that damaged and require fixing or repairing or just, replacing. A little bit deeper into the mitigation option. And this is just understanding what mitigation really is. Again, this is just an extra set of funding that you could get to help you protect yourself against future disasters. So a lot of people aren't aware of the benefit of what mitigation sort of does, right? And to mitigate, like build sewer pumps or floodgates, it's kind of expensive. And, this sort of moment that you have encountered this flooding and the federal assistance that's here through the SBA help sort of like begin those type of projects. And they really protect life. They help reduce future property losses. They improve your resiliency because you're not as affected, or you're able to, when the flooding comes, and hopefully it never does, but if it does, you will have put in place, actual guardrail that'll prevent you to have sustained damages. And on the right side, you see a little bit more of the, that mitigation upgrade. It's really now like, oh my God, this is going to be another four, $300 a month. It's extremely affordable. This is one of example of real life example that they just kind of got an extra $15,000 just to, um, for mitigation purposes. And it only increased by about $80, monthly payments. Actually less, I think it was about 64. What are some of those mitigation projects, as I mentioned? So for flooding, sump pumps, landscape improvements, you could elevate the home, elevate the furnace and the water heater. For wildfire, you have Class A fire rated roof. For wind, you have wind rated garage doors. For earthquake, you have window film and anchor rooftops. And then it's a lot more. We can't tell you what mitigation projects to take on. We can only sort of suggest. And again, the funding is for you to get with a engineer and kind of discuss what is the best way to prevent future damages to your home or businesses should another flooding occur. Diving into what we call the EIDL. Again, this is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And briefly touching here is just working capital. And it's available up to 9 months later after a disaster. Why does it take that long? A lot of businesses aren't aware of the economic impact that they have had until a few months later, right? It's not until you're looking at your bottom line, or you're looking at your taxes as you're doing them and saying, hey, oh my God, I really didn't brought as much money as I thought I did. Or wow, just that week of flooding, I thought it was not that big of a deal. Now looking at these numbers, it actually was. Why am I not where I wanted to be? And a lot of people sort of forget that, 9 months or almost a year before, um, there was an actual disaster, and that disaster have an actual impact not only on physically, but also the consumer behavior, right? So a lot of people, again, they're not really spending. They're kind of saving, they're kind of worried. Uh, consumers don't just shop in Cook County, they shop in Will, they shop in LaSalle, they go everywhere, right? And with all this flooding, people aren't just going places, they're not visiting family. And if, let's say, one of their family has been impacted, well, they're trying to help, raise money to help that family member get better. Again, having a real impact not on the consumer, but also the finances and the money that's coming into the small businesses in our community. What are some of those examples? Again, operating expense, marketing, advertising, payroll, paying your fixed debt, inventory purchases, just to keep the business running. Okay, how do you apply? So we have three ways, and that is going through and doing it online at lending.sba.gov, or visiting one of our open recovery centers, which I will show with the next slide where we're located. You can also contact us in person, via phone or email. You can take a screenshot of this, or the phone number is 800-659-2955. And the email is disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. Once you submit your application and once you go through your portal, what happens is um, an SBA loan officer will review your credit, your repayment availability, and sort of like they will go assess your damages and make a loan decision, right? Uh, you don't have to accept what they give you. You could, if you're approved for 25,000, you could take five, you could take 10, you could take all 25 and hold on to it. And because there's no prepayment penalty, you could realize that you actually did not need it, the funding, and just give it right back. We will gladly take it. We won't say no. You have to pay us more because you have to stick with this 30-year loan that you just took out. Absolutely not. It's a great tool to have should you need it in the future. And kind of just get yourself in the door and have, again, funding set aside for you that you're able to tap into should you run into any roadblocks on your way to your recovery. This is very important where we are providing in-person assistance. You could take a screenshot of this. We are operating out of two disaster centers in Cook County, one in Pullman Branch, Chicago Public Library. I'm sorry. Um, and the village of Hazel Crest. The address is there. I'm not sure if you need me to sort of write it out or say it. Those schedule hours are Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For the Pullman Branch Library, the schedule is as follow: Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays, noon to 8. Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 9 to 2. For the village of Hazel Crest in Cook County, it's Monday to Friday, 9 to 6 p.m. and then Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We also have one in Will County at the village of University Park. Again, Monday to Friday, 9 to 6, and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I want you to be um, aware of the deadline that we have here, which they are as follow. For the Pullman Branch Chicago Public Library, we are permanently closing on September 4th at 4 p.m. That's that Friday for Cook, and for the other village of Hazel Crest in Cook County and in Will County village of the University Park, we are closed permanently September 8th. Now you're still able to qualify to submit your application via online, but to get in-person assistance, these are the dates that we have. So you don't need an appointment. You do not need to call. You don't need to kind of just kind of just go. You could just go in, bring your documentations, or just go in, have a conversation with some of those customer service representatives that we have. They'll be able to walk you through a little bit more in details, answer any specific questions you have. Again, it's been flooding almost for the past 4 or 5 months. Um, if you have sustained multiple damages, not only on July 27, but on July 11, that is a conversation to be had. That is definitely something to bring to our attention because there might be assistance that you probably leaving out on the table. If you do decide to pay us a visit, what you might need is just, your contact information, social security for all applicants and for homeowners and owners of the businesses, as well as any EIN numbers, financial information, monthly expenses, income, etc. Information of your mortgage or lease or deed if you're applying for home assistance, your tax return, insurance if you have. You do not need insurance, but if you have, it's great. Also, any documentation of damages, it's really helpful. Pictures, videos. How did the flooding impacted you? Some helpful tips. It's make sure that you use your legal name exactly as is, and this kind of just helps you understand, just kind of maybe keep in touch and just make sure that you don't have those mistakes. Uh, if you have multiple owners, you can submit a joint application. Once you have your portal, you might have login issues. You're able to call, um, um, you know, 833-572-572-0502, and just a little bit more helpful tips here. You have 60-day period to submit after the filing deadline again. It's just assistance that's here available to you to take on at your convenience. You do not have to follow these deadlines, but it's good to keep in the back of your mind. Where to kind of stay informed and stay connected. You can follow us on our social media platforms at SBA underscore ODRR, or follow the QR code, right? Scan the QR code. Again, you could email us or call us should you have any question. Um, and I think if that will be it on my end, if there are any questions, I all ears. I am here to answer any confusion or anything.
Thanks, Harold. Just a reminder for our attendees today, you can either raise your hand, we'll bring you off mute if you have a question to ask, or you can type it in the Q&A function and we can address it live. I see one hand up from Lisa Marsh. Lisa, I'm going to bring you off mute right now. Lisa, you should be able to ask your question here.
Good morning. My question is for flooding because we had flooding in our home in Will County in Romeoville, and I noted that the president just declared Indiana as a disaster area. Do we have to wait for that declaration to be declared as a disaster area to submit an application to the SBA for flooding in our home?
Oh, because I am not from Illinois, Lisa, I'm gonna ask a little bit more question. Are you located next to Indiana?
No, we are not close to Indiana at all.
So you are here in Cook County, correct?
We're in Will County.
Will County. Yes. So you're in Will County, and if you suffer damage from the dates mentioned earlier, which is either July 7th or July 27th, July 10th or July 27th, you do not need to wait for Indiana.
Okay.
This federal assistance was declared for Will and Cook County.
Okay.
I do know that there's a lot of, conversations going on about the assistance that's going to Indiana, and then
Yeah.
also adjacent counties that are also affecting
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah.
But for the damages for the flooding in July, if you
Yeah.
live in Will County, you're able to get assistance.
Wonderful, because ours did absolutely start in July and it has been crazy. So thank you.
Of course, feel free to visit the Will County Disaster Center there, and they're a great help. They'll be able to kind of walk you through it a little bit more.
Okay.
Give you a specific next steps of what your situation might be. Again, this is just a bird's eye view of,
Hmm.
introducing the information, letting you guys know what's available if you guys want to. But if you guys do, every situation is different. So that's where that in-person assistant, it's really, really helpful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And are you going to send us the recording from this event so that we have all the additional information?
Yes, yeah. So this recording will be sent and uploaded to our YouTube channel, but also
Okay.
emailed to you directly following the webinar today.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for attending, for your question, Lisa.
Thank you.
I also see here in the chat Q&A, we have a question from Ebony. Ebony is asking, can you apply for disaster loan assistance for business and home or the home on one application, or do they have to be separate applications?
Well, that's a great question. I'm not sure if it will require two separate sort of like I do know that it's all within one portal. So your account, once you create your portal, you'll be able to look at all of the systems that you sort of like applied for. Um, I am not sure if it will require two separate sort of application, because in my question would be if are the small businesses is the small business and the home in two separate locations? Then yeah, I do know that a lot of small businesses have like home, like their business at their home. So that might be a little bit of one sort of application, but if it's actually two separate entities with two separate you know, like one has an IEN number, the other one has a deed, and a mortgage. I think that might require two separate applications, but all within the same sort of, one visit, you'll be able to sort of do that in one shot.
Perfect. I don't see any additional questions or hands up. So I'll give one more second there. But Harold, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to join us today and share all this very critical information. I think you mentioned it, but it's been a deluge of rain this summer, especially in the Chicagoland area. So these resources are very much needed.
It's been a lot, and
Yeah,
we're so sorry that this is happening. But we're glad that we're getting some type of assistance from the federal government. These are your taxpayer dollars kind of going back to you. And we understand that sometimes hearing like, hey, it's a loan, which is like not the best, right? And I totally
mhm,
understand. Um, and wish that
right.
sometimes it was different, but it's an assistant, right? And even if you go through insurance, it might just increase your premium. So you'll probably have to pay it in the back end, or maybe you have to tap into savings. You still need to replenish it. Again, it's a tool, it's an extra set of financial assistance that you could apply for it, have it. And if you decide you don't need it, it's great. At least you had it. We don't want you to decide that you actually needed it and then the assistance gone, because there is a
Mhm.
deadline that this will be gone, and we won't be providing no more physical assistance. Obviously, the economic part, it's a few months down the line, but for those physical recovery, it's a pretty, there's definitely a deadline for that. And I'm going to actually, in the chat, put in the actual, location where to
Mhm.
get in-person assistant. Um, so they can either just kind of copy, or
Perfect. I think I saw one hand flash up, so I'm just going to do a last call here. Any additional questions, feel free to raise that hand. We'll have you come off mute, or you can throw it in the Q&A quickly here. Okay. And then thank you, Harold. Again, if you attended today, we're going to follow up not only with this webinar recording, but with any additional materials that Harold, that fact sheet that Harold shared, and then the presentation deck. All this very needed information we'll share directly with you all. And yeah, thanks for attending today. Thanks for being part of the event. And we're very excited that you all were able to listen and take away this valuable information.
Thank you so much, Mercedes, for having us. Really appreciate
Amazing. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
it.